we'll do shapoom. Shapoom. Wow. So we're live. Every once in a while, you'll see me look over to make sure we're good. But most time, I'll be able to just look at your beautiful face and introduce Anna Reyes-Ouzts.
Yeah, you got it.
The King of Kings. So I was just telling you before we got going, I'm super blessed with playing soccer still at the very tender age of 38. And I play with a lot of Reyes-Ouzts. It's a very big name out here.
Yes.
So
yes.
I will start the show. This is the first time we're meeting, which is my favorite type of show I have known, and those are my favorite shows too. But this is always unique because you,
Absolutely.
and immediately I'm in love with you because you have this energy and this tenacity, and that's exactly what attracted to me is seeing you online. So for those that don't know, you're kind of new to the hood-ish.
I am.
All right, and we'll get into the story, but you are kind of pioneering this women's organization group and bringing this love and awareness to women and those that are in business and entrepreneurship, etc. Correct?
Correct.
And I start seeing you online, and anytime I start seeing someone super consistent, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I reach out, and you were so receptive, and so it was beautiful. Usually, if I do blindside somebody, there's like, are you going to put me in a trash bin? They don't actually say it, but there's a lot of like, what, why? And you came in. So like, I'm in this day, this time, and it was beautiful. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I love to share people's, how we got here, how we were doing before sister was late.
Yes. Jeez. No comment.
So can we go back into how it all began, because we started in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Right.
We started in Brooklyn.
And we're growing up. And you were first generation from your parents and family from Cuba.
Correct.
And here we are, we're growing up in Brooklyn. You were sitting in the Italian zone.
Absolutely.
Oh boy. And from that part, take it away to how did you, and you were in the legal genre. You said like corpo, legal scene,
yes.
And it was kind of wearing on you.
Oh yeah, totally.
Give me a timestamp of age if you don't mind, just because it helps me know where someone was mentally. Were you in this imposter syndrome, angry, disgruntled age?
Yes.
And you wanted out?
Absolutely. And that magic number is 50. And when you get to 50, you're like, okay, is this it?
This is it.
This is what I got. And I knew that there was so much more for me to give. And, I've been in the legal field for 25 plus years.
At that point,
and I had worked in corporate America before that in other positions as an executive assistant. So I knew that there was much more to me. There was a lot more that I could give. And I prepped myself. I was preparing myself to be a bail agent. I wanted to be that girl that could get you out of jail because I worked in the criminal defense business.
Right.
And so I knew that there was a big market for people that went to jail and needed to get out. So 5 years I prepped, I did study, got my licenses. And so I had put all my ducks in order, so to speak.
Right.
And then the economy went completely upside down.
Poo-poo. And that was you had said 2010-ish.
2010.
Because it started to hit in 2008, and I remember that. But by then we were real broke.
Totally broke.
So, and we're still in Brooklyn.
Yes.
So
no. We're in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, we're now in Fort Lauderdale. We did the loop.
We've left Brooklyn.
Okay. So how long were we in Fort Lauderdale area from?
Well, okay. Back.
Yes.
So my parents, immigrants of Cuba.
Right.
Went to New York in Brooklyn.
Correct.
I was born there. My sister was born there. My brother was born there. We stayed there till I was going to start junior high. And my parents, and I'm the oldest, my parents took us to Miami.
Okay.
And I grew up in Miami. I went to school there. I went to high school there and got married super young and went to college there as well.
Oh, okay.
And then life, gives you
so most
chapters.
Of your adolescences were in South Florida.
Yes, absolutely.
Aha.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I went to Fort Lauderdale. My parents moved to Fort Lauderdale. My siblings moved to Fort Lauderdale.
And you're the oldest of three?
I am the oldest of three. There you go.
We got to take care of all these guys.
I know. You get me. You get me. So I worked.
Oh, for those that know, sister's over there.
She's over there. And
she's ready to throw the axe.
That's okay. It's okay. So like I said, I wanted to be that boss. I wanted to run my own thing. I always had, I was a legal assistant, I was a bail agent, and I was a spinning instructor.
Have you always been? I know what it's like to be the oldest of the three, but I don't know what it's like to be a woman. Had you always had this fire though? Have you always been this? this fierce, or were you at one point, and I love asking people this because now I would say my hypothesis on you, tenacious, fierce, run through a wall. Like I feel like you have this fuerte. But when you were younger, were you that way, or were you quiet, or were you reserved? Or
that's a great question. I was not like this all the time.
May we go there?
Yeah, we can go there.
Was it a paradigm shift of thought? Was it an experience, a combination of it? What was it? If
interesting. I was very introverted in the sense that I was an only child for a long time because my sister wasn't born until like I was 6. So I basically grew up alone. And my parents were, they were simple. We had a simple life. And so things were much simpler back then anyway. I was super introverted. For the most part, I was a chubby little girl. So being chubby brought also
didn't have this confidence.
Didn't have the confidence as being a chubby little girl. And, as you start to find yourself, when I became an adolescent, I created, that mindset like, wow, I'm pretty. Not that would
I know exactly what you mean.
But I felt much more confident in myself.
Plus, you're in South Florida and everyone's naked and sexy and Latin. So there was a whole
different thing.
Right.
And then I came into myself. I became
what age-ish do you think you started to find yourself?
13.
That's really young
13,
for but so you become a sister by 6. 6 is basically rounding up to your 10, and women grow faster here. So you're basically 20 in your brain, and you're like, boom. So she's the second.
Yes.
And then your brother was the third.
The baby.
How separated in age were they?
He's 8 years younger than I am.
No, her though. Like what?
6 and 8.
Okay. So now you're like, okay, so you're 13.
And you have these little brothers.
Were you like my family too, and most families that were growing up and where you started to kind of take, like, your parents were at work and then you were, I know that.
That's me.
Yeah. So you grew up real fast because of that. Yeah. Plus you guys are probably like some good old, right?
I was a mother hen, especially to my little brother.
Of course.
And to her too. I took him to school in the morning.
Wow.
And my mom had to work, something she had never done before. She was a stay-at-home mom, but things changed financially, so she had to go back to work. So that was a whole different chapter for us.
So Anna's finding herself in her teens, which is really unique. And now is anything from it, when you were down there and growing up in your teens in that scene, was it pretty simple? Would you say life was, or did you start when did you start having this hunger of like this perseverance? I want to do, like, when did you start realizing what you want to do, irregardless of professionally? Did you start to say even then to your immediate family and friends, like, I want out of here? Did you like your area, or did you want to, like, I love asking those questions.
I always had an entrepreneurial heart.
Okay.
I was 12 years old when I had my first job as an assistant secretary for Orkin. Everybody knows Orkin.
Yeah.
My dad worked for Orkin. And I had saved all my money so that I could buy clothes. I never wanted to ask my parents. Yes.
Girl.
They never, like I said, they weren't going to buy the clothes that I wanted. And I didn't want to ask them for the money because, that was.
Were you a little fashionista even back? Okay.
Always.
Here we go.
110.
Shaboom.
So, and I babysat. I had multiple jobs since I was 12. So I always had an entrepreneurial heart. I get it from my dad. My dad became, his own boss and very successful on his own. So I think I got it from him. And I said, you know what? It feels good to be in control of yourself and your time. Not always the timing is exactly how you want, but like I said, that fire at 50 was, I'm done.
That's interesting that it took. Well, first of all, you look beautiful. I would have never even given you. I'm not just trying to sound chivalrous. Like you got it, girl. But so the 5-0 was this massive. It's got to be. I can't imagine for those that are in the 30 nothings like me. And you remember what it was like to be that. And I'm sure you remember back then, it feels like it's already over. Like, well, that's it. Yeah. We're seeing our graves for the first time. We're realizing that it's just the work, life, beep. And then all of a sudden the 5-0, I can't imagine what that must do for you mentally if you allow it to be conducive and not debilitating. But that's interesting that when did you leave the South Florida? Or did you stay there indefinitely? And that's literally, you've been there since 4 years ago. Is that?
Yes.
Wow. So you created an entire lifestyle down there. Yeah. What was this shift of what brought you to our little home?
So I married. My husband is a retired firefighter for 30 years plus
God bless him.
in South Florida. And we always knew that Flagler County was going to be our home.
Had you been here before?
We did. We visited like 10 years prior.
What brought you, like, just on the map, but just, or you saw a billboard?
We saw it. We kind of like went to different areas. We stayed in different places, and it just
you were not necessarily home hunting, but you were home hunting,
exactly,
looking for a new,
where we felt the vibe, and the vibe kept coming back to this. Like it felt like, oh, I want to live here.
Something was sticking,
and so we had our plan, and everything just kind of went into place.
And you just shared something beautiful too, because you're a mommy.
Yes.
And they're all grown up.
They are.
They're all flying around the world. Are they here around here? Or?
Interesting. One is in Georgia. One is in Orlando.
Okay. So in
not
Florida.
Not too far.
But they're doing adulting
they're
things.
Doing their thing.
So you were an empty nester and you're like, honey,
yeah,
here we go.
Let's do it.
And it came here.
And I love Flagler County.
It's funny because a very dear friend of mine once said, when I was younger, I was all nervy. I was like, there's not enough space for all of us. And he says, it's not for everybody. And I've learned that it's a very unique, and I'm at this point too, where this came through my own adulting and think tank and prayer tank. And it's their earth too kind of thing. Cause it used to annoy me when I see people just ruining shit. And I'm like,
I know.
And then I would have to pray. And I'm like, okay, it's their earth too. Let's focus on the 6 inches in front of your face. And I've learned that we're not here too long.
I know.
You know, so I think it's beautiful how when people are here, and it's so, to me, it's so dear.
Yeah.
I tried telling my immediate family this, as we bounced around, not a lot, but when my father and mother were really young, they moved here all by themselves. And they're 20-nothings, and I was the first son, and then my brother was shortly thereafter me. He's about 2 years younger than me, but I can only imagine what they went through. And it's so funny as you get older that I think about this. I don't know if other people do, but you really think about what your family was going through and how dumb I felt at 20 something. And here they are pioneering a lifestyle. And this has been my home. And I tell my immediate family, I think it's by consequence of my relationship with God that I'm trying to treat people right and when no one's looking. But I think being in this small town has helped me be able to create a lifestyle of peace and joy, because I can't bump it. I can go outside and I see my, 5th grade teacher, like it's warming. And I love when I meet people very much like yourself and your sister that are loving it. Because there's a lot of people that grew up here that are disgruntled, and that's all. That's hometown woes.
Yeah,
You're like, love this town, I don't want to be here. But I love that you guys are so. And in the grand scheme of things, 4 or 5 years is nothing in the adult. Our shorts are older than that. Like we.
My shoes, not short shoes.
My shorts are, but it makes me feel good that, and of course we won't blast up where you are, but I know that you're in my old, you're where I grew up, and it's so. To me, it's so cozy over there.
It is.
I really, really love it. It will always, my first friends were right there.
Aww.
And it's just a very special place. So I'm glad. Now, how long until we started pulling the sensor to the town?
Okay, so that's great. And you said something that I say to everybody that is my friend that comes here. I go, this place is not for everybody. Mm-hmm. I say, it's for me. Mm-hmm. But this might not be your fit. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping they don't come. I'm not kidding. I just said,
do not come. We are closed.
Don't come. So yeah, we're the pioneers. We came here knowing nobody, and that didn't last very long. So she was going through her life, her new chapter, and she came and she goes, "Oh, I love this place. Bought a lot, built a house." And then my parents like, "Okay, guys, what are you doing now? Like, when are you going to
Are we still blessed to having mama and papa?
Yeah, they're both here. So we were like, "Oh, and they're in their 80s, and we're not going to move." But the minute that she said she was leaving, now
where's brother?
Brother's still in South Florida. He's a police officer for City of Miami's finest.
Wow.
He's a detective there, so he can't leave yet. But he would have moved here too.
So that was a big move, though, because your mom and dad are down there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we got them here.
Awesome.
They also built a house.
Do they live within close,
in your old hood?
That's my spot. Hood. That makes me so happy. So you're still blessed with having them.
We are.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
It doesn't compute to most people because I'm still blessed having, like I said, my mom's parents, and my grandfather is very dear to me, and I keep him very involved with my soccer community. Nice. And the other day I went to he lives in a housing, like a community out around here, and they have a pool. And I bring all the guys, and here's my grandfather, 85. I don't even know, but he's 85 going on 16. You know what I mean? Like, here he is in his beautiful little bathing suit. He's getting in the water. I'm like, wow. You tell people, they don't make them like they made him like that. No. And it's funny is like when I was younger, we all are guilty. Like, we should eat this and you should do that. I'm like, don't you tell him how to do anything, because whatever he's done is working. But that's so awesome. Now, how many nieces and nephews do you have? You guys have a big family?
Six. So, wow. No, 6. No, 4. My sister has 2. My brother has 2. So we're good. Yeah. 4.
Do you guys get together once? Like, I only ask it because I envy that. We don't do that as much as I feel like we should. We have this huge Italian family, but everyone's so dispersed. Do you guys get together?
We did it in Thanksgiving. It was a little a lot, but we did it. Did
we do it here?
We did it here. We did it on the beach.
No blood. Everyone made it out alive.
Everybody made it out alive.
I can only imagine a big Cuban get together. Do you guys? Oh, sure. Yeah, we're loud too, though. When I invite people to come over and eat with our house, I'm like, listen, we're not yelling at you. We're just
this is our normal tone.
This is normal. So now you're doing all this legal corpo work, and it's wearing. I can taste it now.
Yeah, it just wore me down.
Wearing you down.
It wore me down.
And you hit the 5-0, and you said, "That's it."
Yeah, I was so ready because I had it. I had it all ready to go, and I'll just give you like a quick education on the bail bond business. It really is attached to a home. It's attached to your credit cards. It's attached to your finances.
What do you mean when someone wants to bail?
When somebody wants to bail out, let's say it's $100,000 bond. Okay, well, what do you have for $100,000? I need your house. I need to put a lien on your property. Well, houses were going bankrupt.
There was no credit.
There was no credit. They had no cash. If they had cash, then they could bail themselves out. So they would.
So ultimately, you're the one who's going to.
And I would write a check to the courthouse. I'm not doing it without collateral. The responsibility would be on me. So I'm like, I can't do this right now. Everything just kind of froze in that environment. So I love makeup, and I decided. One of my friends was a Mary Kay director, not a director. She was, a consultant.
Right.
She said, you'd be perfect for Mary Kay. You love makeup, and you would be so perfect. I said, yeah, but I never done anything like that. I was, with a business and worked in corporate and had that paycheck every week. So I said, well, I'm going to give it a shot. Let's see what happens. And I spoke to the director. She was an attorney, and she was doing Mary Kay. I go, so if you're a lawyer and you're a Mary Kay, then what's stopping me from doing this? Because there's a stigma that, you think, oh, this is just a little Mary Kay business. So I proved wrong. Within 11 months, I had become a director. I earned in that career 5 cars, 2 of them being pink Cadillacs.
You got the pink Cadillac?
Twice. I was known as a pink Cadillac lady all over Fort Lauderdale. So I was ready to go. I was ready to do this, and I was working for the attorney, and I never forget the conversation. He looked at me one day. I was sitting at my desk. He says, I need to talk to you. And I said, what's up? He says, well, this Mary Kay business is not working for me. I said, well, that's awesome, because you're not working for me either. So peace out. And I took a super bold decision. That's hard, because when you've been in a job that pays you your bills, and you're going to get out there and do this on your own.
When you made that decision, looking back on it, I use the word supported, meaning not by someone specific, but overall, were you supported or
Absolutely.
Were you? That's amazing.
My husband, then boyfriend, he says, get out. Don't even look back. And I remember that one minute I looked behind, I said, peace out. You're never going to tell me what to do again. Like, I was ready to just blow up.
Doesn't it feel good?
Oh, it was like fire beyond fire.
It still hasn't worn off on you.
No, I'm still in for the game. I love it. And so you have to make that decision that you want to be an entrepreneur, that you're going to hustle for every dime that you have, and you're going to help people along the way.
So which I love, by the way, that's why you're here. I can taste it. What's this boss lady thing?
Great. So many chapters later from Mary Kay, I was a stylist with a company in California.
Okay.
And I came to here. I said, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to do, I'm going to go network. But I didn't love all the networking out there. And I'm like, it was such a
the high school lunch table, bro.
I'm like, this is not my vibe. So I started to do it in my house. I would call it Wine Down Wednesday. I would meet with business women around my, my little living room. We would drink wine, and I'll say, okay, so, you have a cleaning company. Well, she is a realtor. Maybe you guys can work together.
So you started to cultivate this.
Yes.
I love you.
And so COVID hits, done. I'm out.
Right.
I'm totally out. And my sister moves here. She's retiring from being a teacher after 30 years, and she's a photographer by passion. And she said, you got to help me. And I said, I'm done. I'm out of gas. I don't want to do this anymore. I lost my passion at that one point.
A lot of people did.
I said, I don't want to do this. I'm done. Put a fork in me. I just want to live it
I'm
out.
going to the beach.
I just want to go to the beach. That's exactly what I said. I said, I just want to go to the beach. I don't want any more stress. She said, but you got to help me. You got to help me. We can do this. She really pushed me. I said, okay, let's go one more round. I don't know. And I had a friend that we kind of came up with the name. We put a little pink logo. We put it on Facebook. We did our first meeting.
Where was it?
We did it at Hooligans outside.
Nice. In Palm Coast?
Palm Coast. 10 people showed
That's
up.
a lot of people for a first event, girl.
10 people. And we said, okay, how can we make this different? We have, and you will, of course, know, I talk with my hands a lot. I'm sorry.
Girl, let it out.
Christmas Come True. Nadine came and we did like a little mini raffle and we gave her like $110. $110.
That's awesome.
But she was so happy. I said, okay, we found the recipe. It's helping women cultivate their business, helping the local charities, and getting together once a month. So the challenges were there. I couldn't find restaurants that could help us out, but we made it happen. So everything, they're not allowed to give out business cards. Like it's not that kind of networking. Our mantra,
is that really your rule?
It really is not the rule, but it's not like I don't want you to attack me with a business card.
I'm in love. I'm falling more in love
with you.
I want
to know
you. This is
I want to know how I can make you connect with
you're
you
speaking my language.
And being
no cards.
No cards.
Love
let's
it.
Just get
people
down.
Still like I think throw up a little bit when I don't have a card.
That's
like you have a card? I'm like,
no.
I forgot.
That's good.
I love it.
I'm forced
to
get to know you. And I said, will you make meaningful connections and you make that everything bridges to something else? Because then you're like, I met this great guy. He does computers and he's your guy. And then you give the number to somebody else. So when we do
when was your first meeting? Or I know COVID was
June,
but the 2
Hooligans. Years ago. It's going to be 2 years this June that we did our first meeting.
At the Hooligans.
At the Hooligans.
That's
So
amazing.
we're going to have a big hoopla next month, and we're going to call it Denim and Diamond. So Diamond and Denim? I don't know. Either one.
And where are we going to do it?
We're going to do it at Malacompra at the community center.
Nice.
And so we pick one organization that's local every single month. That person comes, they bring a speaker from that organization to find out, how can we help them in the community. And these fabulous boss ladies give raffles, and we just give money for the raffles, and all that money will go to that organization right there and then in cash. So we are really making a difference.
And the name of this is called Boss Ladies?
Boss Ladies of Flagler.
So it's interesting. As of until 2 seconds ago, I had no idea that was actually your group.
Yeah.
I've when you see group names, you just assume that it's somewhere else in this. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
That's amazing. It's hard to do, by the way, too. Meaning I wrangle 3 times a week 20 guys to play soccer, and that alone is a headache. And that's just recreational to get people to show up. And then the anxiety of are they going to come? Is it going to be good? Is it too hot? Is it too cold?
Agreed.
And you seem to be, it's in your DNA as well because of your heritage, but you want everything to be perfect.
Yes.
And it's hard.
Yes.
Are you in a good season right now in general? Or do you have, and I asked this question completely out of sincerity, and I've been doing this since I was younger, asking this question because it's my reflection of pure success, is rest. Are you in a restful place right now?
Absolutely. I feel like I can breathe. I retired, so my passion for makeup is just my side gig and it's my passion. I have no stress that it has to be this way, where it's not where I have to find my next paycheck.
Right.
So it makes it much easier.
Growing up, where I call it this, I branded myself as anxious idiot syndrome. I used to sleep next to my bed, and it had I used to sleep in my bed, but there was a yellow legal notepad that today I should burn. There's probably some great ideas,
you can't burn it.
But it was there's a lot of tears, a lot of anger, because I never thought someone owed me anything, but I've had hundreds of ideas and concepts, etc. And it was always so hard because none of them were fruitful. Some of them were financially. Right. So I call anxious idiot syndrome because I was so anxious that it needed work. Let's go. Come on. Something's got to work. I grew up as social media was becoming a thing, but it wasn't very useful for us back then. We didn't have Facebook pages even.
So
I grew up in the Google was, Google's still only less than like 15 years old. So like it was very interesting to grow up with this and wanting to use it, but it wasn't working.
Right.
Did you grow up with this? Did you ever deal with imposter syndrome, anxious idiot syndrome, or did you always use it as fuel, or did you have like fetal position moments where you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do?
I have had my moments where, for that perfect example, I was super successful in Mary Kay.
That's amazing that you had. I never thought really anyone got the Cadillac. I thought that was some bullshit.
No, it's not. It's a real
wow.
Diamonds, all that stuff. And I burned completely out. And that's okay, because you definitely pegged me. I'm a perfectionist. So if I do it, I'm going to do it all in or nothing.
But it can be debilitating.
And it takes a toll on you.
Right.
And I remember the exact day I was sitting in the city of New York. We were there for Thanksgiving. And I said, I don't want to do this anymore.
It just hits.
The light.
Isn't it funny those moments you can?
And you know exactly what
happens. I bet you can remember what you were even wearing. Almost.
I was
You're just
sitting there. It was the Thanksgiving parade had just happened, and I said to my husband, "You're going to think I am completely nuts," because that's how you start your conversation with somebody that's been supporting your dream all this time. Right. I said, "I need to walk away."
Wow.
He says, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I don't know. We'll figure it out."
Did you, in that moment, like? I can only imagine. I know that feeling.
It's hard.
So hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Were you just sick of being on?
Yes. You're on 24/7. You have no time to be off. You have no time to lull. You have no time to take a break. My head was always going. Like that notepad, my notepad was like.
Did you, from your immediate like companion and your children and friends and things, were you getting like, you're an idiot, you're annoying, stop, shut up, stop? Like, were they, or
that's awesome.
Were they like, ma?
I feel my kids sometimes say, "Mom, you're never available. The kids have this," and and then I needed to regroup. Like, why did I become an entrepreneur? To have flexibility, to enjoy my life, to have freedom, and I was missing that. And then I became disgruntled. Now I'm like, and I remember that I had to go to Dallas. That's where Big Mary Kay, blah blah rah rah is. And my husband went on the motorcycle trip of a lifetime to Sturgis, and I missed it. And I was like,
this isn't what I signed up for.
I didn't sign up for this. Like, I missed that. That was what I wanted to do. And I was in a place that I didn't want to be. So that's when you have to make those decisions. When you run your business, are you going to run it your way? Or are you going to have to run it where it's running for you? Are you running for it? When
you were going through this, though, it seems that something or someone or a combination of both was allowing you to look at this from an aerial view. And when I say I'm proud of you, it's not because I'm a superior, I'm a peer of yours. I envy that because I know what it took for me. And I guess I'll share with you mine to make sure why I'm asking this is that I didn't realize it then because I was in, you heard the term, you don't see the trees when you're in the forest. Right. I'm so thick in this forest that I didn't realize it, but I was isolating from the noise. Wow. And I came up with some sayings through this prayer and torment that when the ringing inside of your ears becomes music, then I feel like everything beyond that becomes extraordinary. So it's like when you're okay with yourself, a companion is even better, but you don't need it. You want it. Right. How were you able to disassociate from all of this success? Like, was someone, like I'm saying, was it by consequence of your spirituality? Was it how are you able to, sometimes it requires somebody getting hit in the head, literally or figuratively. How did you do it? What was your, you know what I'm saying?
That's a really good question. I totally understand you. Sometimes, like, even in a bad relationship, there has to be something on the other side for you to get out.
Car accident.
Anything, like something like life-changing. Right. But for me, I was looking at the fashion industry, which is something that I loved as well. And I had seen a model that I could wrap my head around. I said, I could totally do this. I could totally help women dress, and I will still be the makeup guru and still help them with their makeup. So I could be that total package. Like, I could help them with their closet. So I was having all these ideas of what would it be like. And yeah, it was super scary. I love being on the top of my game. I'm not gonna candy coat that because
I love it.
Super liar. And I hate to lose. that's one. It's a downfall, and it's a trait that's good.
That's a Cuban mentality,
but it's
too,
like
though.
that.
You got that.
You hate to lose, and that's me. I never want to be in the bottom of the barrel. I always want to be
or even
winning.
second.
Second is not even
Second's
good enough.
law.
It's like,
You're
what?
last.
You got second?
Love it.
So physically, I've always wanted to win in races. So it's always been that person. So for me to step down, I stepped down in the top of the game. I didn't stop because I hit rock bottom. So I could leave in a good note and start over again. Fast forward, I thrived super big, and I went on stage with Cabby in California, and I loved it. And like I told you, I moved here, and I thought it would be a great business plan, but it wasn't a good fit.
Right.
And it's okay. I decided, you know what? I'll go right back to my makeup, and I represent a beautiful line, and I'm a makeup artist, so I help women bring the confidence, and I'm good at bringing the confidence because it might seem so shallow to say a little makeup's going to make you feel confident, but it really does. Well,
I've learned, and in this, once again, I'm the first to admit that I have no idea what I'm doing, but I've learned that when the outside appearance, you'll notice that as I'm adulting, those that seem to be super ugly on the outside are super ugly on the inside. You ever notice somebody that's like extremely attractive, and your brain sometimes goes into like your brain knows that they're not supposed to be attractive, meaning like sometimes the most beautiful person, men or women, are the ones that are the most smelliest, messed up moment, and you realize, you go, and I'm not talking about like raggedy taggedy, even homeless, even them are beautiful. But though it seems sometimes that in those that are exercising the peace inside, so like for instance in this case, and I'm not trying to just flatter you, this is a fact, the outside beauty that you have, in my opinion, that I've learned this thing called life, would mean nothing if it didn't have an inside. But check this out, that's simple science. But when they both connect, when there's this to me, it's like a supernova. When you have outside beauty, which is it's fleeting, which is hard to admit, but now that I'm realizing it's happening, I still don't think I have grays. I think it's the sun, it's the shimmer, and that's what's happening. It's not, they're highlights. But as you realize, it's crazy when it's like, when I said to someone for the first time, I would love you if I was blind. I never read that. I never been told that. I never heard it in a book, read it in a book, etc. It means so much. And I think it translates even in like this moment, right? The reason I love doing the show in person, because I used to do it remotely sometimes, is there's this zest here. Absolutely. You can't fake it.
Can't.
And even if my eyes were closed, since the minute you walked in, you have this zest. I'm trying to steer away from the word energy. It's so cliche these days. So I'm using zest.
I like zest.
Zest. Even though it reminds me of the commercial zest.
Reminds it of soap. Are we aging ourselves? That's so awesome.
But it's funny. I've noticed that we can use a lot of things, and the kids don't know. Like, yo,
they don't even know what zest is.
Chenzo made up zest. Like, yeah, I did. But yes, remember the commercial? But there's this feeling, and when it happens, so many people are trying so hard, and we've all been there. We've all been there. And that's why I appreciate you being so candid. And that is, I know, and I'll speak for your siblings, those that have been around you. I guarantee you there's been moments of like, this lady is driving me fucking nuts. Right?
Yes.
Guarantee you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know I have that.
Right. I know.
Sister is in the background shooting fireworks. Yeah. Because when you're so hungry, intense and passionate, it can be really obnoxious. It is. Because there are times, I'll be the first to admit it, you have to slow down.
It's hard.
Very hard. Very hard. And I'm not preaching to anybody. I'm learning it now.
I am too.
And I'll tell you, every once in a while, I'm sure everyone's realized that what you see on social media is a byproduct of what your algorithm knows that you like. Right. So if you're seeing stupid shit, in all due respect, that's your shit. I'm sorry.
Own it.
You know what's funny? I don't think people realize that. Granted, we're all being sold shit, so don't get me wrong. But those that like complain, they're like, God, all I see is political. It's because you're reading it.
Because that's what you're
reading, you're liking, you're communicating. So the algorithm, like, it's funny, like I'm the first to admit I'm an absolute fan of beautiful things. Yeah. My Instagram feed is nothing but beautiful women and beautiful things. Mm-hmm. I would never be like, all I see are beautiful things, and like that's what you chose to like, etc. In this case, when I find myself too fast sometimes. Slow down. And I'm not telling you that. No, like, girl, I'm learning from you.
It's good you said that. It's good you said that, because sometimes they throw you a little wrench. So I had something physical that I had to slow it down.
Mm-hmm.
So yoga brought me all the way here. So when you learn to slow it down and you just like, okay, take it down 20 notches, even though it's super hard for me because I go fast.
It's hard.
But that has helped.
You know
a
what,
lot.
though? It's probably interesting in parallel with what you're saying. And I say this not just once again to flatter you, but you're not miscombobulated, meaning that even though it's for the most, meaning my immediate family or those that see me habitually,
Right, yeah.
they may think like this guy, like I have this, people think that I'm literally out every single day. Like I'm out misbehaving every day. Because when they see me, I'm like a little boy on summer vacation. But the irony is I'm out like once a week, if that.
Right.
But they have this illusion of me that, oh, he
Solo.
doesn't do anything. This guy's just out there. But when you have this personality trait of go, 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 go,
Right.
It's funny how, God forbid, I hope whatever your boo-boo was, you're in a good place about it. Right. But those will be it really wake you up.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want no one getting boo-boos out there, but I'm going to tell you something. We are fragile, but we're so strong at the same time. Boo-boos are the most unique thing. Yeah. I had my first ever real boo-boo health situation about a year ago. And man, did I turn into a baby. Yeah, are you strong during boo-boos?
I was pretty strong. I mean, it was a tough year. Physically, it was a tough
year.
You
stayed strong?
I stayed strong there because I knew that I had to get better. I'm not better yet, but I'm still baby steps going into the right direction.
Proud of you.
So, you just have to take like, okay, let's make this right. And just
isn't that, and so here's my heart, right? I think I said this, I don't even know if we were on live or not, because we chatted a little bit before the show. I have such an attraction and this desire to want to be around people that are nice to other people, because I know that they want to punch them in the face. And I say that completely blunt, not even figuratively. For those out there that you see people that are being nice to other people, not once, I'm not talking about just picking something up that someone dropped. That's easy shit. Yeah. I don't care about those that are opening up doors for people. That's all easy shit for me. And we deserves no thank you, in my opinion. Those that are doing things that are inconveniencing their own life to do something for someone they don't know. My most favorite word in all the entire world is agape. It's to give without expecting back. And you know how rare that is? I think the only people, in my opinion, that actually exercise it without even realizing it are women. And I'm not trying to sound chivalrous, meaning that the only creatures in the world, I think, are offspring that are allowed to want and need simultaneously, period. Siblings are not, parents are not, nobody is allowed to treat friends, family, colleagues, acquaintances with expectations and obligations. Why the hell were you not at the baby shower, asshole? What? What? Wait a minute. Children are allowed to say that, I think, to their family, to their meeting. Right. Mom, I want you, I need you, and I also want you to get away right now. But they're allowed to need you and want you. Anybody, I think, that exercises that is not a child, it's broken. It becomes this. You ever notice that it's the same people complaining that they have no one in their life, Like,
then you wonder why.
On me, and no one's mad at me. Have you heard yourself? And we've all been there. I'm not perfect, but you ever notice it's like it almost resorts down to it'd be like if the house was 87 degrees in here and you walked in, and I'm like, nobody wants to be here, and you're like, dude, it's Africa in here, bro. Like, I can't breathe.
I love it.
Like, you should, if you want to be hospitable and you want people to, then why don't you be attracted by consequence of focusing on yourself, etc. But see, all of this is so simple, but we miss it. And that's why I was attracted to you, is that I know that you want to punch people in the face. And I'm saying that out of having fun.
In a good way.
I'm not saying that you're actually going to, she's an MMA fighter. She's going to beat you up. But
it's so funny.
You hear my heart on that, though?
I do. And I tell you, because I was with some wonderful friends from Fort Lauderdale who now, of course, fell in love with Flagler. And we were talking, and we hadn't connected in a long time. So it was very necessary to reconnect with my soul sisters. And I told them that the epiphany of getting older is that when you get older, you don't want to waste your time with people that are not in a good place with you, because then you're just like giving out that negative energy. Like, I don't want to be with somebody who's negative.
Right.
Life is too short. Like, I want to be with people that bring you positivity, that bring something wonderful to the table. Like, how can we help each other out? those negative Nellies, they're always going to be the negative Nellies. We want to help them, and you do. I do want to help them, and I'll listen to them, and I'll be a friend for them. But then I want to spend my time with the people that bring me value.
Well, it's beautiful because it's become this. I have this opinion of I'm going to use this younger generation genre, meaning there's songs and there's even all these acronyms. And basically, I'm doing me. Even my my slogan is "I do web so you can do you." Right. I get it. There's something to be said about taking care of yourself, but then there's this weird. To me, there's a fine line between. Here's my opinion: those that want to preach and practice the "I do me." Yeah. I'm doing me. Yeah. Like, I'm doing me. Yeah. But they owe you $5. You're not allowed to do that. Yeah. So for those that are out there, and I'm not preaching, but hear me out. If you're going to say, I'm doing me to the person that you owe either a hug or $5 to, you're messed up. Yeah. You're not allowed to do that. Get your debts right, figuratively and literally, because then at that point, for instance, we're forming a relationship, right? If you call me tomorrow at noon and say, can you do something? And I politely say, can't make it. Love you anyways. Rain check times 2. And you form a negative connotation towards me. She's like, this son of a bitch. He thought he was my homie. We did the pot. Told him that you're broken. Something's broken because I don't owe you anything. And it's okay to be agile, independent, and to be in your own lane. But for instance, if I ask to borrow $1 or $1,000 today, let's just make pretend. And tomorrow at noon, you say, oh, by the way, how do you want to? Do you want to do Venmo or do you want to do a month? And I say, I'll let you know. And this doesn't just correlate to money. Right. This doesn't correlate. Yeah. Maybe you left something over here. Right. Maybe, or I borrowed something. Right. I borrowed the pen. I'm like, yeah, let me borrow that pen, please. And you're like, okay, fine. I need it tomorrow though at noon. Tomorrow at noon, you call. I don't answer. That's some bullshit. Yeah. So those people out there trying to do, I do me. It seems to be the younger gen too. I'm doing me. I'm focusing on me. Let me be. But you owe someone something because you got there that way. Don't do that. Get to where you want to be without somebody else's mental, physical, or spiritual or monetarily expense. Because then that's probably the only thing I got going for me. Thank God. That those that are the most grumpiest with me because of my independence and agile, like my agility of just being like, no, thank you. Even though they're grumpy at me, I don't owe you anything, man. I think there's a fine line between wanting and needing. And once again, I ain't preaching. I'm just as broken as everyone else, right. But chill and keep it simple. And all these things that we grew up with that we completely forget as we get older. Isn't it funny? You hear my heart. Am I making any sense?
I hear you. And I feel like simplicity is so much better. Getting back to the basics of just this next generation. I could go on for hours about it, but we're going to leave it. That's for a whole other podcast. I think that it's different. I think that social media is awesome, but then of course now we have other expectations of what life is supposed to give you because of social media.
Right. So, but see, I feel like in your case, this is a byproduct of the beautiful things that can come out of it.
Yeah.
So I
agree.
I use social media. It doesn't use me.
Exactly.
And I'm proud of you because by byproduct of you utilizing social media, I found you.
Absolutely.
And your smile and your verbiage that you even use, and that what I would imagine that I've been blessed with intuition, you're doing amazing.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
I appreciate, and I want to because I want to make sure that our audience, we have a community page. It's called the Boss Ladies Community Page, where we share events, where we share things that are going on. And I would love for people to like the page. And if there's any entrepreneurs out there that want to be in a networking where it's going to make a difference. And I don't even like to call it a networking event because it's really about connecting events. We do it once a month.
What day?
It's always the third Tuesday, but we didn't do it yesterday because we had something else and it was a conflict. But historically, it's always on the third Tuesday from 5 to 7. And we pick a different location, also enlightening, different and highlighting different restaurants in our community. We always wanted to be at a different place because we help the small businesses. We have different charities every month, and we have different speakers. So we give the microphone to a different boss lady every month. Amazing. Where she can talk about her business. She gets to talk about how she can help us or just to learn about what she's doing. So we give power to 2 or 3 women every month that have something amazing to bring to the table. So it really is a wonderful organization. We don't charge for anything. You just buy your food or your drinks to help the local restaurant.
There's no admission to this.
Nope. And if you want to buy those raffles, they're amazing because the money goes back to the charity.
Right.
This month is ORS, which of course it's for people that have been rehab that really need the help. Listen, we need to help that community, and we want to make sure that there's enough, money to give them. We've done so much with the community, and we're very proud of what we've done. My sister really is the backbone for that. She reaches out to the charity. She makes sure that there's a speaker there, and then we give them the donation. I take care of the speakers. We help pick the place and just kind of, organize it and put it all together and kind of keep it in check.
It's amazing. So, I can't believe that you're not charging.
No,
that's rare.
There's nothing for us. This is all really an act from the heart.
Now, is it actually, do you have to be a girl only? Or
yes.
That's fair?
Yes.
Darn it.
Yes, Chenzo, you can't be there. Sorry.
No, I think it's actually a beautiful thing.
They've tried.
Oh, really?
Trust me, they have tried.
You got some boys trying to come in the girls' club?
But
do they
why?
actually show up, or they're like inquiry?
Well, they have to ask the question. So I'm like, listen, really, this is a girls' club. I go, it's okay, but you have to understand, this is for boss ladies.
Well, us boys, when she tells us we can't do anything,
I know,
now
it's
we're
great.
like,
they go off the rails. What? I know. So yeah, it's just for girls.
I'm just gonna go and sit in the back.
That's okay.
No, I think it's beautiful though, because once again, in my time around this sun, I've noticed women are just, you guys are. I had a guy once. I say this a lot, but it warrants me needing to be said. He has this theory that if women were more in the past 100+ years to 200, if women were more allowed, let's just use the word allowed, or let's just say groomed into positions of power, there'd be more like remedies to diseases and sicknesses. And you guys are you're just different.
We make the world go around.
When I have exchanges with women, especially those that are mothers, you guys are just like, you can listen to 5 things at once. You just vibe, but you're also, you guys are killers in a good way.
Killer instincts. Yeah. Go a long way.
Anyone that messes with the baby cubs,
they're going down.
Do we have grandkids yet?
6. I have 6.
Good Lord.
And 2 steps, so I actually have 8.
Congratulations.
Yeah, all ages. Oldest is 20 and the baby's 8 months. So I have like a range of teenagers and babies.
You got it all.
I'm very blessed.
I love asking people that have hit the milestone of grandparents. What's your grandma name?
Abuela.
Abuela? Okay.
One of my grandkids, he's so funny. He goes, I don't really want to call you Abuela. Can I call you Grammy? I said, I like Grammy. Let's go for it. So we have like this inside joke, Grammy. There's only one. Ashton is the one that calls me that. And then, of course, the other one's Abuela, which is in Spanish, Abuela.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love asking that because usually the kid, it's self-given. Like the kids will name you if they want.
Do you call yours Nona or?
Yeah,
Nona.
Uh-huh. So it's funny. My sister actually, Nani floated around a bit. Nani. So my dad's grandmother, who she passed away when I was probably just becoming in my adolescence, but I remember like it was yesterday. Wow. She was a sweet, sweet woman, amazing one. But she was Nani.
Nani.
That was
so
my
cute.
Nani.
Aww.
My dad's mom was Grammy.
Grammy. See, I brought it.
But my mom's parents, Nono for my grandfather, and I call her Nona. But there's a couple people in my family that call her Nani.
Nani, that's so
it's
cute.
A pretty one, huh?
It's a cute one. I like that.
So, but having them, and I mean, but how beautiful it is that you have a lot of fire, though. Too. Are they feeding off of you at this point? Are they too young where they're like?
I think that we have a good relationship. It's interesting. I told one of my granddaughters, that special age 13, whatever. I said, you're gonna get older. You're gonna think you have the coolest grandmother ever. You're never gonna forget this. So, because we had a road trip with her. It's kind of funny. I said, listen, I'm a really cool grandmother. You're not gonna think this right now. You're gonna think this later on, and that is gonna happen because she's gonna have those moments. She's like, she really was kind of cool, right?
Is she the oldest of your grandkids?
No, my grandson Kevin is my oldest. He's 20.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is 20. He all adulting? Is he grown up? Is he?
He has to figure it out because COVID hit when he was a senior. So we were just having that convo. It was a tough gig for him. He's going to college now. He's going to go. He's a baseball player. Nice. He did a year of a baseball league. So I'm praying that God has a good plan for him to get into a college with baseball, and so he'll find his way.
Are these sisters' kids? Do we have these or brothers? Or your like? Does she have her kids here? Or is she...
one of them, and the other one lives in Georgia. So she has 2 kids, and my brother has 2 boys. So there's a whole combo of things. We have just a great big family. We really do.
That is awesome.
It's amazing.
Do you guys see your mom and dad like every week, or do you guys have like a routine? You guys do dinners and?
I talk to my mom and dad multiple times a day. So my first call in the morning is to my mom and dad.
That's beautiful.
I'll go visit them. We'll eat with them. My sister, she'll have them over. They show up, unexpectedly.
So it's a lot unexpected.
Yes.
There's no plan. You guys get together, I'm sure, for birthdays and all that.
Everything like that.
You're everything I thought and some.
Oh, you're amazing.
My intuition's right on point. I knew, and I say this completely out of sincerity, but growing up here and seeing, there's been a lot have come, there's been a lot that go.
Yeah.
And I haven't met too many people that are in your position with your heart. Like I've met a lot of people in your position, meaning they're trying to birth this group or this, that, and the other. And there seems to be a shallowness to not them, but the purpose.
Right.
I'm smitten with the fact that you're not charging, which is you're just as dumb as me in a good way.
It's a good thing.
Like it is a good thing. I'm the same way. I would rather. And what you're building and cultivating, when I see these pictures coming out from this group, I had no idea it was yours, by the way. I just thought you were involved. I'm even that much more taken aback that it is yours. And it's awesome. It's really unrewarding sometimes because once again, it's hard to organize. And I say that out of love. I'm very half glass full.
You're being honest. It's true. Sometimes
this isn't all about.
She walks me off the ledge a little bit. She's like, "We can do this. Are you sure we can? I don't know. Maybe we can't."
But the small moments of reward are so worth it. I like to try to pride myself behind closed doors of someone that always says yes to help somebody when I can. And once again, I'm not one to post it and talk about it, but it's today I read a Bible verse and it was beautiful. I'm a big fan of the Bible because there's such beautiful things in there. And it was talking about, don't worry, you keep doing things. You keep helping. Right. I see you. I got you. And I don't do it because like I go log onto my bank account after I help someone like, oh, I was nice today. So where's the money?
Right.
It's not that. It's just more of peace and rest. And I hope, and it shows, I hope that you and I both, now that you're in my hood, you have rest and continue to exercise that. Because I bet you would agree with me on this because you've seen a lot of things. It doesn't get easier.
Yeah.
No. Life gets so heavy. And my goal now is to stay stronger. Because I try to tell that to the guys that are younger than me that come to me and they're like, Jens, what do I do? Or how do I? And I say, listen, there is a scene out there that I've heard. We've all heard it on YouTubes and this. And it's like, like today's a good day. Today's a great day. I'm like, no, man, today's going to be, it's going to be heavy, but you got it. You're going to be strong. Yes. You got this. And I don't want to know, it's your business, but whatever it is, your boo-boo is, I pray health and favor and victory over it because I've noticed that I am the biggest. Well, this is another byproduct of being a man. Baby. God, am I a baby? I just had my second little boo-boo and I was like, I thought I was ready from the first one. I'm like, no. I turned into a vegetable and it's horrible. And I'm the first to say that I envy the strength of people that are going through something and still do this.
Right.
And for those that are dealing with anything chronic, whether it's health or even mental, I envy you because I promise you're stronger than even me. Like I had such a hard time through my boo-boo to go out and buy a gallon of milk without looking at the guy next to me and being like, dude, what's it feel like to be perfect? And you're like, little do you know, this guy's probably more broken, but you're mad.
We don't know.
You're in traffic and you're mad at everyone around you. You're like, you're probably healthier than me. And I hated that feeling. It was debilitating to me. So however you're doing it, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
It's
I appreciate
amazing.
You so much.
Is sister, you said a sister is can we say it?
Yeah.
Cancer survivor?
Yeah.
That is amazing. Like, talk about strength.
Yeah. Talk about a journey.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
you don't know how strong you are.
I can't even imagine. Like I said, I have a toothache and I'm like, and once again, it's a reflection of women. You guys are, I swear you guys could lose your arms and you guys would still win a fight. It's unbelievable, but it shows the strength, and I speak for every man out there that has had the blessing or been lucky enough to come in contact with a woman, if you have a companion, you guys teach us so much. And if there's one thing that I try to suck from women, it's that like, how do you stay so strong? You know, the running joke that women get a cold and you guys are like, let's go. Like we get a cold, we're like dead. And it's so true. So I love that. And I hope that, and I speak this complete fact, for the rest of your life, for as long as I'm around here, you have the bestest friend.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
But so when is the next event for this month?
It will be May 24th, 5 to 7 at Brass Tap.
Ooh, I know what that is.
It's so fun. And Tuesdays is all happy hour.
So Tuesdays are
That's it. That's our day. And so
you guys do get a little frisk, though. I like that. Look, drink or two.
Yeah, they get to drink. It's
okay.
All good. So they can come if they're a boss lady. Boss lady entitles you to have a business, whether it's brick and mortar, whether it's an online
Can they just show up, or do they have to?
They can show up, and then we'll register them, and then we'll get them in the mix. And then every month after that, and then they get to be part of our community, whether, promoting their businesses. But we only have one rule in the entire meeting, and it's really to show up to one of these meetings so you can promote yourself. Because if you show up, then we know who you are, then we can help you and we can connect with you. It's not just plugging your business online. It's really about how do we help each other out.
Right.
And it's much bigger, and it's taken a life of its own. We're very proud of what it's become.
Well, it hit my desk, and I fell in love with it. And like I said, I think it's beautiful because there's a lot of groups, and nothing against them, but they can be very starchy. Yeah. Their acronyms and this and that, and it's like, I'm happy to see that you're doing something to really give women an outlet to come and to be. And once again, the photos, and for those I spoke from, they love what you're doing. And anything I can do to help support it and bring awareness to it. So May the first, you said Tuesday, the first Tuesday?
No, it's usually the 3rd, but this month is the 4th.
Okay. And Brass Tab, what time?
5 to 7.
5 to 7. Oh, those are good drinking hours.
That's a good hours.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Anything else we could plug? Did we do it?
That's it. And if you need makeup,
I'm gonna tag your page,
yes,
and then the boss lady's page.
Please.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure I could say this. If anyone wants to reach out to you,
please.
Usually people that come on the show very shortly thereafter get a lot of comments and reaching out.
And I love that if you're new in town and you don't know how to find your way and you're in a business, we really want to reach out to you and help you, because I think we can. You'd be surprised. A lot of girls have just started their businesses new in town, and we've opened our arms, to embrace them and help them and just kind of guide them.
Right.
And I think my sister's done a great job of that. Well, it's all good. We're all in this together.
I love that, because there is a lot of people that they're nervy. They're scared.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And especially
it's hard.
Yeah, it is hard. Well, especially in a new area.
Yeah, exactly.
I meet someone new almost every day now.
Yeah, I do too. And now
awesome.
I've been here a month. I've been here 2 months. I came from here, from there. Doesn't matter. There's a place for everybody at the table. And there's a lot and I'm not saying that of different groups. I'm just saying what works for us. I don't care if there's 55 makeup artists. I don't care if there's 3,000 photographers. We are not in competition with each other. Yeah. We are helping each other. There's room at the table for everybody. And I want you to understand that there's 1,000 realtors, there's 1,000 bankers, there could be 55 housekeepers. I don't care.
There's 10,000 web dudes.
And there's 10,000 web dudes. There could be 10,001. It doesn't matter. There's enough for everybody. I'm
in love with what you're saying, because I learned this the hard way. I used to be somebody years ago, because I've been doing this about 20 years. I was nervous. What am I going to do? There's competition. Listen, people want to work with people
because they like you.
It may not be this way in the next 200 years, but Palm Coast is a funky small town. I know we're at X amount of people, et cetera, but what keeps me in business is the personability, and I think business is very personal.
I agree.
And those out there that think that this is just going to be your quarter or your this, no. There's something to be. Everyone has a flavor. Yeah. Everyone has a passion, and I think it's beautiful that you have a really wonderful mindset. You are the polar opposite of business in a good way.
Yeah,
you're not corpo. No. You shaved it all off.
Done.
That corpo thing is
that's double dig you down.
But I love it that you are giving these people a name and a personality, and not just their business.
Absolutely, and empowering women, which
love
is
it.
Awesome. Yay,
Goosies! I got it. Nice nails too, by the way.
Thank you.
Let's see. We didn't even get kicked off. The internet stayed. I got new internet the other day
Yay!
too, so it's good. Anything else? We did it. I think
We
we're good.
did it. We did
Shabam.
it. That was
Bam.
awesome.
Now what I did too is it automatically goes right